Hi everyone, welcome back to Stamp with Anna, and today I have another customer thank you card that I'm sending out. Now, usually when I send out my customer thank you cards, I design a card and I just mass produce it for all of the people that I need to send one to. But this time I thought I would try something different. For anyone who placed an order in January, their customer thank you card is a card that's made with one of the products that they ordered, if I have it. If I don't have it, then I was going to do something comparable. I haven't come across that yet. So this is one of those such cards. One customer ordered all of the subtle cardstock. So I try to use as many different colors of the subtle cardstock as I could in this card. And I'm going to make it again with you today for a customer who ordered the mini cut and emboss. And I used the mini machine to cut all of these letters and this birthday greeting. So I'm going to make the card again with you now for her. There's a lot of moving parts to this card, and I'm going to try to make it as uncomplicated as possible. So I'm just going to move my card off to the side. So when I was deciding what to use for my papers, I pulled in all of my stamp pads and I went from there and I lined them up to see how I thought they looked good. And Calypso Coral is one of the subtles, but it's kind of the brightest of the subtle, that and the Highland Heather. So I decided to use those more as accents. So my Calypso Coral, as you can see, front and center. And the Highland Heather I used as the background paper and the birthday. And the other ones I just moved them around until I liked them. Now I could have done that with my papers, but I liked seeing it like this, and that just helped me figure out how I was going to proceed. So after I figured out which of the subtles, I mean there are 10 colors, so I didn't use all 10 of them. I used 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I guess 7. 7 different colors. So the card base is Highland Heather, and it is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I'm going to bring in my bone folder and just give it a nice crisp crease. Then my matting piece is soft seafoam, and that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So I can attach that right onto my card base. And that goes right there in the middle. My card front is 3 3/4 by 5. But you know me, I like dimensions. I'm not crazy about flat paper. I'm just a dimension person. So I'm going to run that through my Big Shot using the Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder. Now I used, I don't have the new cut and emboss machine, so I'm going to use my trusty Big Shot. It never lets me down. So here I have my platform, my embossing folder, and with my paper, and the blue plate. And I'm going to put this aside, but I do have to come back to it. And now this piece, I just love this pattern. Isn't that nice? Even both sides, the debossed and the embossed. Next thing I want to do is make my banners. And to do that, I cut out strips from all the colors that I chose to use. There's Blushing Bride, Mint Macaron, Calypso Coral, Pool Party and So Saffron. I cut all of them out 3/4 by 3. And then to get these, I've already done these because I wanted to save us some time. To get those, I put it through the Banner's Pick Punch, and it fits in there in the 3/4 inch groove nicely, but I always just like to turn it over and check on the back to make sure that it's centered. So there is that. Now, actually, I'm going to bring in my embossed piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to place my banners. And I'm going to place the middle one first because I'm going to work around that middle one. I want that one to be centered. And I'm going to bring them in. You could stagger these if you wanted, but I'm going to have them all be the same at the same height, the same position, I guess. And after I straighten them out, I'm going to put my dimensionals down. Now, I want a dimensional to be right up at the top of the white because I want this to be secure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a dimensional and I'm going to put it right on my white, okay? As close to the top of my card as I can, okay? I didn't want to take that off, but it fell off. Okay, so I'm going to leave that right there. And then I'm going to do the same with the position of all 5 of these. Okay. One sticks out. I mean, you could, I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. And I just roughly want to get it where my banner is going to be. Now I'm going to turn all of my banners over, and I'm going to put a dimensional, about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, from the flag. The stick. See, this one is off a tiny bit. Just move these over just a tad because I think that's off. So now that I have that all lined up, I'm going to start with my center one again. I'm going to take off the back of my dimensional, and I'm going to put that where I want it to be. Now, I made my strips 3 inches simply because I didn't want to cut it too close. Oh, I'm going to take this one off. And I will go back and trim that. And here's my So Saffron. My mint macaron. And here's my blushing bride. And now that I have them all in place, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my paper snips. And I already accidentally put, and I'm just going to trim these off. Okay. And now there's my Stampin' Seal is already still there from when I put it on by mistake. And there we go. So now we have it nice and flush with the white, and the Stampin' Dimensional, if you can see this, is right up against the top, so that's going to be secure. It's not going to flap over when you put it in and out of the envelope. So there are our cute little banners. Now we're going to do our die cutting. And what I did, I have a, and this project is great for using up scraps. I have a scrap piece of heather, Highland heather, and I'm going to bring my mini Stampin' Emboss back in, and I have plate number 1, plate number 2. Oh my God, I guess I've been using this a while. I'll look at my plates, and my Highland heather, and my birthday, and I'm gonna run that through. Oh, just moved, and I'll tell you where that came from in just a second. I'm gonna bring that back in. Here is my birthday. I want to be very careful. I do not want to lose that little eye, little dot that goes on the eye. So I'm going to pop it out and just move it out of my way. And now I'm going to peel these off. Okay, and there is birthday. I had, oh God, if you could just see my desk. I had my silicone pad somewhere. Well, I'm going to have to do without. So this would be the perfect place to use a silicone pad. What I'm going to do with my glue pen is put a little bit of glue, especially on the tops and the bottoms of these letters. I mean, you could also run it through if you have one of those mini XI ones. Or I guess I could have used the double-sided adhesive tape and run it through my Big Shot, my mini cut and emboss when I did the die cutting, but I didn't. All right, so there's that. Oh, I'm gonna press it down really, really well. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back to my eye, and I'm going to put. I found it easiest if I put the dot of glue down first. And then there's my eye, my little dot, and I'm going to drop it down there. That was the hardest part of this whole project, I think, was keeping track of my little eye. Now, this birthday came from the well-written dies. You can see it has a lot of great ones, great dies, and it has a coordinating, well-said 2-piece stamp set. And we're also going to use The Best Thing About Today Is You. That's going to go on the inside. So this is a great little set. You can mix and match and make tons of different sayings. Now for my happy, my letters there, I've cut those out of the Playful Alphabet dies, and I just simply brought in a piece of scrap white, and again with my mini cut and emboss, put in my scrap, and I did H, A, P. I believe there were 2 P's in that, so hold on one second. Well, no, I'll just run it through and then run my P through again. So I'm going to run that through. There they all are. They pop out so nicely. And then I'm just going to make another pass for my second P. Okay. And now I'm going to move that out of my way because I am done. I want to make sure I have all of my dies here because they're so small. I just don't want to lose them. So I'm going to put them up on my workstation over there. Now I'm going to bring my Big Shot back in. And using that same textured embossing folder, I'm going to put all of my letters in. H-A-P-P-Y. And I'm going to run them through. And now they have some texture, because I did want to have some texture on this card. And here they all are. And I'm going to bring in my card. And again, I'm going to use my my little tweezers here to be able to hold this. And I'm going to bring in my glue pen. And again, you could run this through a mini Xyron if you have one. And I'm going to put it pretty much halfway in the center of my banner. It's my H. A. Line that up. Keep it straight. Now the letters are, the die cut letters are, they do have a texture on them. So it's an uneven surface. Oh, I put that glue on the wrong side. I'll tip it over. So you could use liquid glue if you have one that has a fine tip, because that would get into all of your grooves. Or like I said, if you have the mini Xyron, you could use that. And I'm just going to use this little glue pen here because I like it. And H-A-P-P and the Y. Although there are a lot of moving parts, the card does go quickly to make. Okay, H-A-P-P-Y. There we go. Happy birthday. Now all we have to do is the inside of our card. And from that Well Said stamp set, I'm going to use Highland Heather because that is my focal color here. And I'm going to ink this up. And it says the best thing about today is you. I'm going to drop that in straight down, straight up. And now it just needs to be dropped inside my card. And there we go. Card is complete. And there we have the two of them. And again, this one was made for a customer who ordered all of the Subtles cardstock. And this one was made for a customer who ordered the mini Stamp and Emboss. So they each get the same card, but for different reasons. So if you have any questions at all about this project or any of the products that I used, certainly contact me through my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. And while you're here, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, or give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator with whom you work, certainly let me know and I'll be glad to pop a catalog in the mail to you. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you back here with another project.